The wine that's in this jug is what I use to create the headspaces in each one of those wines. So what I'm doing is putting undegassed wine back into wine that's been degassed. And I found that it's no problem because each one of those is about 5% of the total volume. So this 5% that I'm adding in at twice as much or 3 times as much, probably twice as much gas, not going to hurt the quality of the wine at all. So fill this level up to the bottom of the neck, about 2 inches in diameter. Okay, I'll just pinch that off. Let the hose drain. Do the same thing here. Just get it to the bottom of the neck. And what you've done there is, if there's any oxygen in there, you have reduced the diameter of the airspace to that much, rather than this big wide amount. If you had a little oxygen, it could only work on that 2-inch diameter. Here's where things get a little tricky. You rascal, you. But anyhow, I will pour the last little drop of wine in there. We're in pretty good shape. So here I got that diameter, here I got this diameter. Again, I still got some gas in my wine, not much. And by the way, when you have the gas, you do want to protect. Your wine from oxidation, because we found that wine will oxidize easier. Even this out a little bit. How's this for being fussy, folks? But to each his own here. If I tell you I want to do something, I want to do it. That's all. And one more, and we'll all be just about even. So, how about that, sports fans? Now it's just a matter of adding airlocks to this. Just let her bulk age and settle down for a few days, and sometime soon, that's ready for bottling. You won't be able to see the clarifiers and what it did for the red, but it will take some fine particles out, and also the white. The white tomorrow morning I expect to be just crystalline clear the way it was when we started off. There it is. You've seen a 6-way degassing by an amateur. You can see, you can't, it's too bad we don't have taste division so you can taste the difference. It's unbelievable, the taste, where it was an hour or so ago to where it is now. It's just, it's something you've got to experience. We guarantee it. We will send your money back in the first 90 days. I'll pay the postage I'll pay the postage, yeah, both ways. That's where that'll end up. And there's no better guarantee that I know. There's never a problem with parts. I've got a year's guarantee on the parts, but there's no moving parts. So we just don't have a problem as long as people don't do something other than what their instructions say. So, hi. Back, it's been 3 days now since the last little segment there where we reintroduced the vacuum into these jugs to keep them fresh. And so now they've cleared, and in fact, like 3 hours after we quit that last taping, this top end here began to show signs of clearing. And by the next morning, this whole thing was just as clear as you see it now. Again, when a wine is properly degassed, it can't hold the stuff in suspension. Most of it is going to drop out. So now we have these carboys, and they have a vacuum contained in them. Now my table is still in position. We've gotten the carboys out of sight for a moment. We're going to bottle those, by the way, today. So they're up on the counter and they're ready to go. Another little trick that we've been doing recently with this table is that we found that these concentrated kits from the different manufacturers are quite heavy. In fact, the more expensive they are, the heavier these things are. So here's some pretty good wine. This comes out of R.J. Spagno's Cellar Series, Cellar Classic. What we're going to do, and we're going to do this later today, is pull the neck of the concentrate up, and of course you would know this one would be almost on the bottom, but there's the neck. This thing is quite heavy. It's got more than 4 gallons of juice in it. So what we do is what we just found that we can do is that we pop this cap and siphon the wine into the fermenter. And when it gets about 90% empty, now that thing's no longer heavy. It's easy to handle. So we pour the rest of it into the fermenter, get our bentonite out, pour the bentonite into the empty bag, take it to the sink, do the rinsing cycle and shaking up the bentonite in the bag. Let it settle for a second. Pour almost all of the juice out of the thing out of the bag into the carboy. Do it again to get any residual sugar out. Shake it up again, and believe me, that is really a simple, easy way of mixing your bentonite and your juices together. So here we were. We don't have to handle this weight. We siphoned it into the fermenter and then mixed our juices, and another aggravating thing is to try to get that bentonite sometimes to dissolve. Works beautifully. It just absolutely works. Really nice. So I'm gonna put this back. Probably gonna start these 2 kits today. But right now I want to show you some other